What is up, folks? This is Fizz Man, and in this video we're gonna talk about the second subject under the series time, which is titled The Magic of Thinking Big. As you can see from the title, which is called The Magic of Thinking, to be frank, I actually got the title from a book that a friend lent to me some time ago. Credits to that friend. But I never actually finished the book. But man, the title had a ring to it. And to prevent plagiarism, I'm not gonna use the entire title. So that's why it's called The Magic of Thinking. But hopefully that is enough to not get me into trouble. Technically the video is about thinking big. What, why and how, you may ask? Well, if you don't mind to give me time to explain, and by this video ends in due time, you will have a bigger mind. So before I get to the juicy bit, let me tell you about something that happened recently. 2 months ago, to be more specific, sometime in January. Now it's March. During a period when semester 1 exam was approaching and time was a valued thing, I accidentally left my phone on the bus when I was on my way to uni to study. This isn't just a phone. I have a wallet for it that carries all my daily needs, bank cards which support me financially, identity cards which includes my uni ID and visa, and finally a bus pass which lets me travel using the bus for free. So long as I have the pass, that is. I have it all in one place, which is that phone, to eliminate a wallet. So it's one less thing for me to worry about and to remember to bring whenever I go out. And I only realized that I lost it when I've arrived in the engineering compound of the uni because I couldn't enter the building because I don't have my ID. Now, I have lost my wallet before, on the bus as well a few years back, and the procedure to have everything retrieved was so tedious. I had to go to the police station to report what was lost, and then go to the respective places to tell that I've lost the item and have it replaced. Easy task, you would say, but very, very time consuming. Fortunately, that's not the case this time. Thank God for the Find My iPhone app feature, because right after I realized my phone was missing, I jumped on a nearby computer, used the application online, and with it I was able to locate the phone and where the phone had stopped moving. That was half of the job done. Reaching the place to get it was the second job, and it was more troublesome since I didn't have any money on me or even my bus pass. So what I did was I jogged back to my house, borrowed cash and a phone from my housemate just so I could check the phone's location and whether it was moving again or not. I literally ran quarter of the distance before finally realizing that it was too far, and decided to grab a cab with the money I borrowed. This was crucial because with the cab, I arrived where my phone had settled. Apparently it was at the building of the bus company where they park all the buses when they're not in use. Well, yeah, I arrived there just before clocking 5 p.m, which was its closing time. I went into the building's reception, talked with the people working there, and luckily my phone was there, along with everything inside. What are the odds? What are the odds that it didn't get taken by the passenger on the bus driver, and the receptionist? What are the odds? And to top it off, the cab driver gave me a free ride back to my home to conclude my day. A hectic but not a bad day, you would say. So I found my phone. It was at the receptionist of Lost and Found of that bus company in the building. What are the odds? I took a cab over there. The cab driver was nice, his name was Steven. And then I told him that I'd walk my way back home after getting my phone. But he insisted on driving me back, so that's another good thing in life. Thank you, Steven. If you're hearing this, thank you. Fizz out. And I'm telling this story as a reference for the next bit, the good bit. So coming back to the main point of the video, Have you guys ever heard of the phrase that humans are only using 10% of their brain? Is it even true? But if so, can we increase it? Is it even possible? I may have the answers to that, with reference to this diagram I'm about to introduce called the circles of thought. Hopefully it can act as a guidance throughout the whole explanation. Well, to think is to be aware of something, right? And a lot of times we'd be aware of our own problems. From here, I need you to try to put yourself in other people's shoes, starting with me. In the case of my story just now, it was regarding my missing phone. So in my head, the problem I'm aware of only revolves around me, represented by the first circle of thoughts called self. This circle represents the thoughts that are about yourself. Hair problem, looks, finance, someone you're avoiding, whatever form of obstacle life throws at you. Then, I also mentioned that my housemate, who has lent me his phone along with his cash, in which I used for the cab. Now, in his shoes, he realized that his friend, which is me, is in trouble, which led to the actions he had done, which is lending the phone and the money. His thoughts is represented by a bigger circle which defines thoughts about those who are related to you, family, friends, a step larger than just thinking about yourself. Next are the three respective people, the passenger, the bus driver, and the receptionist. They are all strangers to me, no relations. They could have been selfish and taken my phone for their own use, but they didn't. They had the thought of a stranger in help, so they did what had been done. This said thought would be represented by another large circle called the community circle. Though considered stranger to them, I live and study in Newcastle, which makes me a part of the Newcastle community. Hence why this circle is called the community circle. Right. So, hopefully by now I'm sure you get the hang of what each circle represents. We have two more circles to cover in which my story cannot relate with. The next circle is labeled race, which are thoughts regarding your country, the people of your kind. It's applicable to those who are patriotic, caring for the needies, or even those that are racist. It may sound controversial, but it's the truth. They behave as such because of how they think, hence the labels. Patriotic, racist, labels. And the final circle is the red one, labeled as world. This applies for those whose thoughts revolve around the world and beyond. Applicable to people like engineers, environmentalists, world leaders, etc., etc. These people would think on a worldly scale, and how to change it for the good or the bad is up to them. This is a rare yet great characteristic found in humans. Each circle represents the range of your thoughts. There's a reason as to why these circles are chronologically ordered as such. If you haven't noticed, it's because if you put these thoughts into actions, the circle represents those affected. You solve a problem for yourself, you're only going to please yourself. If you provide a solution to a world problem, then with comparison from the sizes of the circle, the impact would be towards a larger scale. The same applies if you were to cause a problem rather than a solution. Now for a quick recap, in this video I've brought up awareness regarding thoughts specifically with the help of the circles of thought diagram. With respect to it, those who doesn't go beyond the self circle would most probably be a selfish person. Those who think that they can identify problems raised and provide a solution in all or most of the circles would show a great leadership material. And just to reassure, it is possible for a person to satisfy one type of circle but not the others. Say, just the world alone, yet he lacks the ability to care for himself. And again, satisfying more circles than another person doesn't make you a better person. The purpose of the diagram simply gives an overview on how large of a range your thoughts are. Also, I've taught you how to put yourself in other people's shoes, which can eliminate selfishness, lets you understand people better, and most importantly have a broader perspective of situations which would allow you to make decisions to not only satisfy yourself but others as well. So don't worry if you're comparing yourself with others and feeling like you're not thinking enough, or if you're thinking about the wrong things, because as you grow you get to think about more stuff. Your perspective of things can change. Just give it time. Similarly, don't neglect on a person that seems to be thinking or doing the wrong thing. Give them time, and he or she may learn certain things and eventually change. So for conclusion, with that being said, one question for you to think of: how far do you think? Which of the circle could you relate with, and how often? So with these pieces of information, hopefully it can enable you to think big. Bigger mind, bigger influence, bigger change. The magic of thinking big. Hope you have enjoyed this video and that it has been beneficial. Like it for support and subscribe if you haven't, if you want to have more contents like these. And that's all. Fizz out.